Today, we're sharing with you what Hytale provided back in 2019. You might be thinking to yourself, why should I watch this? Well, there are many images shown in this presentation that many people have never seen before. In this video provided by EGX, Sean McCaffrey and Chris Thurston take us on a journey through Hytale's past and explain to us how they came to be the game developers for the game we all know and love, Hytale. But before we begin, we wanted to invite you to our solely Hytale specific Discord server, which you can join with the link in the description below. With that being said, my name is Natsu, and let's get right into the EGX Hytale Showcase. Let's take a look.
Hello everyone, welcome to the EGX Registered Developer stage again. I'm Catherine Castle from Rock Paper Shotgun, and for the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to have Chris Thurston and Sean McCaffrey talk about Hytale. Take it away, guys.
Hi everyone, as Catherine said, I'm Chris Thurston from Hypixel Studios, and joining me Sean McCaffrey, content lead for Hytale.
There are a lot of different aspects to Hytale, but in broad terms, the project breaks down into 3 pillars. First, the adventure mode. You've just seen the trailer, okay? So what we're talking about is a sandbox fantasy role-playing experience that takes place in a huge block-based and procedurally generated world. So you can expect the usual sort of things like combat, crafting, there's a story at roots, there are dungeons, boss battles, and of course the almighty loot. Then we have money games. Now this is kind of Hypixel's bread and butter, but we'll get to that. These are multiplayer experiences, a mix of cooperative and competitive, that feature lots of little different features and mechanics. And finally, we have our creative tools. This spans everything from free-form building with blocks to creating machinima using in-game cinematic tools, scripting, creating and importing new assets and animations, and a lot more besides. It's been a journey to get here. I had lots more hair when we first started, and to get to this point, particularly as a team that really did cut its teeth as a modern team. Today we're going to talk a wee bit about how each part of that journey happened, give you a look at early versions of Hytale, and explain how our origins helped inform the game that we've subsequently gone on to make. The initial years after Hytale's development were dedicated to engine and tool creation. We invested a lot of effort in getting back to square one, essentially in order to make sure that we would ultimately be building a game that was as future-proof as possible. So here's a look at where that work initially got us. Our initial exploratory work helped us get up to speed with our new engine fairly quickly. This shot shows a very early version of Hytale using all of our own tech. There was a lot to do from that point, obviously, in many fields. So we're going to show you how things started to come together using screenshots from various points in Hytale's development. Please bear in mind that these shots are pretty old and are not representative of the final game at all. So we have 3 artists, Thomas, Paulina, and Connor. Hello. And ours started to establish the visual identity for Hytale, you see from that concept sketch there, which includes everything from character designs and guidelines for world generation. Each of our zones has different rules when it comes to world gen. Like each zone in the game, each of the 6 zones are wildly different. And those rules apply to topography, or underground geography, water, creatures, plant life, the placement of prefabs and point of interest that you may have seen on one of our blog posts, like ruins and forts. World generation in particular became an area of interest. Hytale is divided, as I said, into zones, and each zone is divided into biomes. And we experimented with a lot of ways to create interesting and dynamic environments at the points where the biomes intersected. This is an early look at World Gen in Zone 1. At the same time, we worked on detail, like kind of all the fluff around this. So the more generation takes care of the topography and the things you can see and do, but that still had to be filled with more life. So at the same time, we worked on the detail. Plants and animals, materials, custom models, and so on, expanding the capabilities of the engine itself in order to include the creative flourishes that we wanted to see. So in this screenshot, you see Zone 1 a little further along. There's a lot more going on, and we're starting to see the benefits of all that additional work. But one of the challenges we faced when we began to work on the game was to remember that ultimately we held the keys to the castle, the keys to every aspect of the engine. We were so used to modding inside that tightly controlled box that it was easy sometimes to forget that we had the power to change everything that we wanted to change, add everything that we wanted to add. When you're used to working within such constraints, it can be a challenge to break out of that mindset. There's an example of that. Actually, during the development, I actually approached the guys from the Hypixel server, the Minecraft guys, and asked them, okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to take or ask for anything that you want in terms of development and features of this engine, so let me know. And over the course of a couple of days, I gathered some data. And when I actually read through it, it was all stuff that they'd already created as part of the Hypixel server or already existed in Minecraft itself. So I actually had to go back and tell them, guys, you can have anything that you want, you know? They're just locked in that mindset. They got there, though. This is another screenshot of Zone 1, this time a lot more recent. This one's from about a year ago. Here you can see the render improvements, the particle effects, creatures, tinted blocks, and a more evocative skybox. Thank you for that word, Chris, that was awesome. These are all the ways we've challenged ourselves to break out of that modding mindset and take advantage of the opportunities that an original engine provides. Zone 2. This is a process that we've repeated across Hytale's various zones. Here's an example of World 2, or Zone 2. Worlds then coming together, creating a really different rocky landscape that's in complete contrast to Zone 1. And another example of how our work in the rain has helped us create another distinct kind of environment, this time forest in Zone 3. I love this. We focused a lot on world gen so far because it's fairly easy to demonstrate visually. But the work was much broader than this. Here's an early shot of functional networking, which is really important for us because it gave our team an opportunity to be absolute weirdos, as well as developing some server-side stuff. More importantly, it made for a lot of our other work, particularly the evolving sophistication of the game world, that these things could be tested and iterated upon collaboratively. But apart from that, we are a remote team. We do not have an office. Right? There are people who work on this game that are as far east as New Zealand and as far west as California, and we don't have a central place to meet up. This was the closest thing we got to getting together and being face to face as we ever had before. Right. So we have people on the team with expertise in engine and tool development, including Elise and Bilu, the craft studio guys, who helped us build what was now called the Hytale Model Maker, an accessible 3D modeling and animation toolkit that we created specifically to help with the development of the game. All of this work on the engine and our tools has really paid off. Having the freedom to tinker with the game and experiment with new ideas has led to some surprising additions, like an in-game cinema where you can watch dog videos or cat videos. Our tools let us iterate quickly, which brings us kind of full circle back to the way we used to work as modders. We've held internal modeling jams to see how far we can push the engine and the tools.
So yeah, it's really this freedom, I think, to mod the game and to create your own stuff is what rounds out Hytale. And we think it's one of the reasons that we received that positive reaction back in December. And so since then, we've been able to plow ahead with production, obviously, but also try and be more open about our process and give people a bigger look at what's going on as we continue to develop the game. So, we've used our blog to talk about things like block building, custom models and decor. This is stuff that every player will engage with, but it's particularly of interest to modders and opens up a lot of potential for them. We've talked about character creation, customization options, how we're able to offer not just different looks, but also a sort of thematic range of styles from traditional fantasy through modern fashion to cosplay, essentially, within the game. This week, we took the lid off behavior scripting, which is a modular system that allows us to construct interesting behaviors for creatures out of templates and common components, and ultimately, modders will, of course, be able to do the same. We've started to talk about how custom servers will work, how modders will ultimately be able to operate their own adventure or minigame theme parks, and do that within Hytale. There is no reason for this slide. I like the pigeon.
The pigeon again, Chris, the pigeon.
I'll sit down there.
Yeah. We've been fortunate in many ways as mod teams go, and we want to pay that forward by making sure that Hytale modders have all the tools they need to build the kind of games they want to build. And we want to make modders out of regular players by ensuring that our tools are accessible, free, easy to use to import your own work into a game. We can imagine that a lot of players will be happy to quest, build settlements, play meta games, and engage in that way. But we also want to lay the roadmap that turns adventurers into builders, builders into minigame creators into modders and server operators, and modders and server operators into game developers. After all, that is what happened to us.
So yeah, that is, hang on, there's more, easy, Julian. That is the origin of Hytale, pretty much. We're going to show, we hope you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about how the game came to be, and we are going to spend the next 15 minutes or so answering questions. If you've got them, I know the microphone will come out very shortly. But before we get to that, which is why you shouldn't clap yet, we want to show you a little bit of what we were working on recently. So in this presentation and over the last couple of months, you've seen World Gen in Zone 1 and 2 in the kinds of environments and atmosphere it can create. So here is a look at Zone 3. Now you can clap. So the microphone stand is making its way to the front. If you have a question, please line up behind it and speak directly into the microphone.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
I'm too short for this microphone. So you guys are in this sort of fairly unusual position of knowing that pretty much as soon as you release this, you're releasing not just a game, but a platform that's going to have quite a large community. So you're going to be the kind of the masters of this ecosystem where lots of people are going to live. So I was curious kind of how you're thinking about approaching that, particularly since you guys actually built your initial business inside the Minecraft ecosystem, how you're thinking about approaching that now that you guys are going to be the sort of the masters of your own universe.
So are you really talking about what happens when somebody else makes their own server, or they try to monetize and things like that, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you guys are going to have this potentially huge community, a platform which people are going to be doing a lot of things with, which is a tremendous opportunity for you, as well as the people who are creating content within your world. So I was just curious kind of what your plans are for making it work both for them and for you.
Well, I don't want to go into terms of monetization or anything like that just yet, because we haven't learned all what we're going to do. But to use a kind of Disney paradigm or theme park paradigm, when you go to Disney, you pay at the door and then the rides are free, right? So Outside kind of other monetization features for ourselves, what a server does, but we have to keep an eye on that. You know, we have a certain amount of ethical sort of behaviour that we expect from anybody who's going to start engaging with the Hytale community themselves in their own terms. So we've already started talking to people about this and what they want to do and what they achieve. It's a little bit early yet, but yeah, we're open to anybody wanting to create anything, basically, within reason.
Well, something we showed in one of the slides, and that slide was from a blog post we did in January, I think, about how our server system works, which had a little bit of the server, like a UI concept for the server browser. That will be a way for server creators to be listed in Hytale within the game itself.
Yeah. Sorry, so when you actually load up Hytale, you'll have the three options at the top of the screen, basically. You'll have the adventure game, and you'll have mini games, and you'll have servers, right? So when you click into that servers, you're going to see our server, obviously, but you're going to see anybody else who has a server created. And of course, there'll be ways for people to connect to other people's servers using an IP address or things like that. So.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this before, that we have ideas for like a way for server operators to declare the kinds of servers they're operating, what kinds of services they're offering, what kind of mini games and so on.
Yeah, we're talking about white, grey, black.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's still a wee bit.
Yeah,
and
all
this kind of stuff should be taken with a grain of salt. But we have this notion of a white server, a grey server, and a black server. White servers are obeying the rules, it's all clean, it's all very wholesome. Grey servers are kind of, I wouldn't say pay to win or anything like that there, but then black servers just don't care about the rules. And those sort of servers don't get listed, so thanks to that.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello. With the mini games, will there be different, can other people make mini games apart from you guys?
That is the whole point of everything that we're doing. We want somebody else to make a Hypixel server, if you know what I mean. The same way Hypixel created a server around Minecraft, we want somebody else to create their own server and their own experiences around Hytale. We want to see that happen again, only somebody else did this thing. We'll start off by the creation of a server. And the thing I have to say about these three pillars, we're creating an adventure game because we want to create an adventure game, because we love that sort of thing. We love Zelda, we love Skyrim, we love World of Warcraft, all these kind of adventure, heavy fantasy, kind of thematically driven things. And that's part of who we are, it's part of our DNA, but the big part of our experience is in the creation of mini games. And what we're doing, and why we're doing all this, isn't just to do that and make money off it and all that. It's an example of how to do things, right? So the adventure game, our players are going to be able to pick that apart. They're going to be able to open up anything you see in the game, you can edit in the game, right? And we want them to learn how to do it and then do it themselves. Why have 60 developers when you can have 6,000, 60,000, just and foster that sort of community? It's been what we have been about since day one.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for any more? Don't be shy. Great.
I also have a question.
Okay.
While you're thinking, we do have a couple more minutes for questions. If anyone's got one last one, okay.
There we go.
I will hold my question.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hi. So this is a question that people have been talking about ever since the trailer.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Do you guys think, with the release of Hytale, Minecraft is going to be crushed?
Yeah, I think no, is the answer to it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Minecraft is huge. Minecraft is gargantuan. Covers many platforms and has many guys, but it's an awesome game. It's an awesome game. And it's a generational game. It's a game that gets passed from brother to sister, down to nephews and nieces. It's been going for so long. And I don't think, if Hytale has a percentage, like a small percentage of the success of Minecraft, then our job's golden, It's never been our intent to crush Minecraft. The guys from Mojang have actually been very supportive. I actually met a few of them in San Francisco a while ago, and they were going, that's awesome, we can't wait to see what you do. But they have a development roadmap as well, so I'd be excited to see how how these things kind of sit in parallel, and will one feed into the other and vice versa. But I don't think I want to live in a world where you can't have both. You know. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, no,
for
thanks.
that. The hardest question we got so far.
Thank you.
Well, my question's going to be seem extremely frivolous after that. What is your favourite Hytale animal apart from the pigeon?
Seems like a rather loaded question, Catherine. It is the pigeon, and I won't shift on
It
that.
could only be the pigeon. It could only be the pigeon. Fair enough. Well, just in case, as I say, we've got like maybe 1 or 2 minutes for questions, but if no one else has got any more questions,
Go on.
then I'll give you 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, lad.
Sean, you didn't say what your favourite Hytale animal was.
I can't
you
actually
think-
say it because it hasn't been seen yet.
Okay.
But it's awesome.
Mystery
I think
creature.
the existing one, turbo chicken.
Yeah,
Turbo chicken is the most awesome thing and a legend apparently.
indeed. Yeah, if you pay attention during the trailer, there is a little secret URL that will take you somewhere on our website where you can see
Turbo
Sure.
chicken.
Turbo chicken. Hi.
So I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will Hytale come out on like only the PC or other consoles as well?
We are focused solely with a laser-like focus on PC and Mac at the minute. However, we will most likely be pursuing that avenue sooner rather than later, but we don't know yet. Our team has been built from the ground up as PC developers, so we don't actually have the internal experience to bring out the console. That does not take it off the table, however.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I think we've probably run out of time now. Thank you, Chris and Sean, for taking us through the story of Hytale. Please, everyone, give them a round of applause.
And that's all we have for today. Let us know if you guys have seen this session before, back in 2019. We thought it would be great to bring back some memories, and for some of you, never before seen looks at Hytale in its early development. If you guys would like to stay up to date with everything Hytale, you can subscribe to our channel, as well as follow us over on Twitter at Hytale News YT. We can't thank you all enough for the support, and we're going to be aiming for a new video every single Friday. So stay tuned! We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye, and catch you later.
Smash, subscribe. Smash, subscribe. Smash, subscribe. Smash, subscribe.